All right, man. The Detroit Lions defense have been, for the most part, they've been lights out all season. Um, and they won that Texans game last night, man. I think it need to be said on some of the performances that they are producing this season. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we had the struggles with the back end when we were talking about the back end, having penalties and well, that's gonna happen when you play man to man coverage. You play with a lot of young guys. You got a lot of man to man guys. Yeah, that's gonna, be real handsy, and the NFL want to make it a point and emphasis to call a lot of penalties to or call a lot of the bullshit to set the standard for the season, whatever. Especially like those offensive linemen illegally getting downfield. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of that called. Um, you see a lot of, remember they was calling a bunch of the offensive linemen lining up, in the neutral zone a lot, and they was letting them get away with that. So, but for the most part, Lions, for the most part, figured out how to be aggressive, in the man-to-man coverage. And they gonna live with a few penalties that they get. It was talks about the Terry Arnado play at the end where they said it was pass interference, which it was good defense, good physical defense. And it kind of reminds you of the NBA, where in NBA they call a lot of touch fouls, or if the offensive player jumping to you, it's a foul on the defensive player. And that's why when they get into international play, they struggle. That's exactly why when they get into international play and they got to play real man basketball, it ain't no entertainment or fake fouls or none of that, or superstar fouls. All you do is see the Olympic players complain about not getting calls. That's because the NBA is rigged. Anytime somebody get a call because they're a superstar, they're an elite status, or what team, that's rigged. It's supposed to be even Steven, but nonetheless, the Lions have figured out, how to defend, how to play man-to-man coverage without getting penalties. I don't know if they put oven mitts or they put baseball mitts on Terry Arnado or some of these other DBs, but they out there competing. They out there, getting physical with the other team's receivers, on the back end. And now I told you around the 8, 9, 10 game mark, they're going to start to gel and kind of get a rhythm. And that's what you're seeing. And then you got to remember, they got to insert Iffy Melifanu. Emmanuel Mosley is supposed to be close to coming back. So some of these dudes that they gotta re-implement. You know what I'm saying? So some of these dudes you're gonna see get re-implemented, find new roles on the defense. So they are gonna continue to get help, obviously, with Zadarius Smith. So help is on the way. It don't hurt. It don't hurt that you get in there and you got one of the more prolific offenses in football on the other side in practice, in every day in practice. So they're getting a lot of good work. But you look at some of these, how good defensively they are, and some of these scores they holding teams to. It's mind boggling once you think about it. This being the Detroit Lions, this is actually mind boggling. And you got to remember they held the Rams to 20 points. That's with Puka Nacua for some of the game in Cooper Cup. You see what the Rams doing right now? They running amok. They running amok around the league. Now that he got his weapons back, so the Bucks 20 held the Bucks to 20 points. That should have been a win. The Cardinals held them to 13 points. Seahawks held them to 29 points. That's that they always give us problems though, but that's the one team that did. The Cowboys 9 points. The Vikings was 29 points. That was we let them come back. That's because of turnovers. That's why it was that Dave Montgomery turnover. You gotta look into it. So really, in reality, they only scored 22 points offensively, for I can remember. 14 to the Titans, 14 to the Packers, 23 to the Texans, and that's another statistic that's misconstrued too, because the amount of the turnovers that the Lions offense put them in the defense in compromising positions. The amount of turnovers. So, yeah. So once you kind of look into those stats and see kind of the turnovers that in the compromising positions that they put us in, it's like, okay, now we get it. So yeah, them defense been balling. Aaron Glenn, all he needed was a few more soldiers in the back end, and that's what he got. He got a few more soldiers in the back end. That's all he really needed was a few more soldiers in the back end. And now, he could play his brand of football, aggressive, handsy, man to man. They're throwing some zone in there. Liam McNeil made some noise last night. They found a way. They got some pressures. Carlton Davis got 2 big picks. They don't win without them big picks that he got. So yeah, they starting to turn things around, being one of the better defenses. And you don't like I said before, you know, um, you know, it don't happen overnight. It takes time, and now they're gonna get a little bit more help on the back end, a little bit more depth. It's gonna be interesting to see how they. It's gonna be interesting to see how they implement Ife Melifanu and Emmanuel Mosley into this defense. That's gonna be very, very interesting. How do they kind of implement them back into this defense? And how do they get him, back going? So, he one of their better blitzers. He one of their better blitzers. So to me, it's gonna be very interesting to see, how they maneuvering and how they gonna move, and you know how they gonna add some people. You might get Derek Barnes back. So yeah, I'm very, very interested in seeing. I'm very interested in seeing how they implement some of these dudes back into defense. But defense balling right now. They balling. They got put in a bunch of compromised positions last night, and they responded. They responded. So that's all you really can ask for. They responded. So yeah, let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon Music, Kick, Twitch. Not Kick and Twitch, just Spotify, Anchor. Want to donate? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo. Make sure I said that again. Appreciate the love, support. Peace.